What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen that title was going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Got it here. This is Jake Tapper and Mayor Jacob Fry. Chance to de-escalate from earlier rhetoric suggesting that Minnesota National Guard may fight ICE in the streets. When it comes down to it. Fry passes with a word salad that opens up calling. And let me tell y'all something. As I'm saying this, this stuff is completely insane. As you literally have these individuals that are constantly inciting more and more violence. I truly do not get that, y'all. Truly don't get that.
Governor Walz has mobilized the Minnesota National Guard. He has not yet deployed them. I want to play something that you said earlier this week.
We have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street. We cannot be at a place right now in America where we have two governmental entities that are literally fighting one another.
Literally fighting one another is pretty stark. Are you worried that's where this is actually heading, with the National Guard and local police on one side in Minneapolis and active duty troops and ICE agents and other federal law enforcement on the other, actually literally fighting, physically fighting?
As I said then, and I'll say now, we can't have that in America. And so what we are hopeful for here is the judicial system to do its part, to see that necessary check and balance, to recognize that we can't have cities occupied in the United States that simply have a different view from the White House. Now it's Minneapolis, but importantly, and I want to talk to everybody throughout America, I know you love your family, your neighborhood. I know that you love your town, regardless of where you are. And just imagine what it would feel like if you suddenly had an administration, a deployment of troops, of agents come into your city by the thousands, vastly outnumber your police department, and cause chaos on your streets. If the goal here is to create peace and safety and calm, there's a very clear antidote here, which is leave. The second these ICE agents leave the city, I'm telling you, you're going to have calm in Minneapolis, and you will continue to see the great comeback that we had been experiencing. Let us get back to that comeback. Let us live in peace. Let us have businesses that are open and daycares where you don't need to escort staff to and from. Let us live in a place where, look, in Minneapolis, we'll stand up. If we have to sled down ice hills to get to a protest, we'll do that. If we've got to make sure that people are escorted to the grocery store, we'll do that. But truthfully, we want to get back to a place where we can just love on our city, do our daily activities, just like any other town in America.
I ain't gonna lie. I truly feel like it's very, very sad that he's on. First of all, you get the lies. But to sit there and have to threaten it like, oh, yeah, ICE needs to leave. ICE needs to do this. ICE needs to do that. And then everything will be calm. Then everything will be, you're basically saying everything's going to be bad. Everything's going to be like this. Everything's going to be like that. And I really, truly don't care. I truly don't care. And we're going to threaten this like, y'all get all this figured out and y'all need to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like it's given so much of that. And that's what I don't like. I truly don't like the simple fact that he's wanting more and more violence. I truly don't like that. And I definitely say, and I said this in my last video as well, shame on those parents that are constantly taking putting these kids in a sense of harm's way when it comes to going to these protests. I've been seeing that it's been babies, toddlers, that are at these protests, and it's definitely sickening. You have more though. Says ICE and border agents are getting kicked out of the Hilton Hotel in St. Paul because of safety concerns. Says leftists are literally trying to break in to these, these local businesses, especially, within these hotels. And it's definitely sad, it's definitely sad, that these individuals have to go through this.
This is a developing story, but we are now learning that ICE and Border Patrol agents are being kicked out of this hotel, the DoubleTree by Hilton in St. Paul downtown. The hotel says it's due to safety concerns. We did confirm with the hotel that all guests did receive a memo that all government employees have to be checked out by noon. The other guests are allowed to stay. The hotel says it's due to safety concerns. We just walked in, tried to book a room. We couldn't. They did confirm that it is closing. We do see a truck now leaving. Now, this is still a developing situation here in downtown Minneapolis. We're also learning that President Trump also has the Army's 11th Airborne Division on standby to be deployed here to Minnesota. So once again, this is still a developing situation on what's going on here on the ground. But just even driving around the city, you see lots of anti-ICE signs, anti-Border Patrol signs, and now ICE agents here will have to find a new room after federal employees are now being kicked out. We're still trying to learn some more information. We see another vehicle there also exiting the hotel as we were approaching noon. The other guests are allowed to finish the reservation. Still a developing situation here from St. Paul downtown.
Individuals that are literally doing their job and doing what they need to do, as far as, when it comes to, doing what's right. And I truly just hate that, they have to go through that. They have to constantly go through that just because of, the ignorance, that these individuals have. It's definitely sickening. And I don't like it whatsoever. Got it right here. Minneapolis Mayor Fry erupts in panic after President Trump puts 1,500 troops on standby. Check it out.
News that there are 1,500 active duty U.S. soldiers on standby to deploy to your state.
This act was clearly designed to intimidate the people of Minneapolis. And here's the thing. We're not going to be intimidated. If the goal here is safety, we've got many mechanisms to achieve safety. And the best way to get safety is not to have an influx of even more agents, and in this case, military, in Minneapolis. Right now, we have about 600 police officers, and they've got 3,000 or so ICE agents and Border Control. That they are now talking about deploying 1,500 military. This is, well, it's ridiculous, but we will not be intimidated by the actions of this federal government.
Earlier this news that there are 50.
Definitely sad. Says we will not be intimidated by this federal government. Every time he gets on any type of platform, it'll be something, one complete sentence, and he's hyping people up each and every time. And it's truly sickening that he's doing this. Check it out here, Stephen Miller, y'all.
What Democrats are doing is vote harvesting, fraud harvesting, ballot harvesting, crime harvesting. Ask yourself, why would Fry, why would Waltz sanction such egregious violence against ICE officers? Because they understand that this scheme, this mass migration scheme, is the heart of the Democratic Party's political power. It is their plan for power today and long into the future. So they know that if this administration of President Trump is successful in reversing this invasion, it will deal a generational blow to Democrat political power.
Well, before I let you go.
Definitely. Pretty sad, pretty sickening, y'all. Pretty sad, pretty sickening. And everybody's seeing it. Literally everybody's seeing it. Then you have individuals that's in denial about it. I'm telling y'all. One thing about it, Greg Malvino says ICE isn't leaving Minnesota. Check it out. Greg Malvino, y'all.
We're going to be here till that mission, what you just spoke of, those criminal aliens, those bad people and bad things. When we finish arresting all of them, perhaps our mission will be over here.
So months or weeks? What are we thinking?
We're making great strides in the amount of individuals that we are arresting. We've got thousands of officers here. We're going to continue to do that. And, weather's a little difficult here, but other than that, we're making great strides. And, it'll be done when it's done, but we're here to accomplish that.
Definitely love it, y'all. Definitely love it. I mean, you can't hate it. You can't hate it. Truly can't. Things. And the thing is, it's going to take time. These things are going to take time, and that's what people are failing to realize. It is. I know you have people that's like, oh, they need to do this and they need to do that and they need to make sure. Trust and believe, y'all. These things will take time. You got to take things day by day, and do what you can. One thing about it is that I truly love that you got Stephen Miller that's on top of a lot, Greg Bonvino that's on top of a lot, and I definitely got to get it to him. Check it out right here.
Yes, well, sanctuary cities are jurisdictions that shield and shelter criminal illegal aliens from deportation. So, for example, in Minneapolis and Minnesota, when an illegal alien commits a crime and is deportable and can and should be removed from the country, the city of Minneapolis and the state of Minnesota prevent ICE from arresting and deporting the offender, even when they are charged or convicted of heinous crimes, including crimes against women, crimes against children, crimes of violence, and instead they release them back onto the street where they can continue to reoffend.
Exactly.
So ICE over and over and over again goes out into the community to find and arrest these fugitives who have since committed additional egregious crimes after they were released by Fry and Waltz and Ellison. These are acts of insurrection against the laws of the United States and against the sovereignty of the United States. Foreign illegal aliens who broke into this country, who then raped children, who committed human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, protected, shielded, sheltered, coddled, defended at every level by the leadership in Minnesota. And then when ICE goes out to make these arrests, they unleash violent mobs to attack, assault, and impede ICE officers. And they refuse to allow the city police to protect those ICE officers in the conduct of their duties, willfully aiding and abetting this violence.
Come on now. It's sickening that you got people out here. People literally, like, and I'm being completely honest with y'all. People literally, those people that's out there supporting, and has those signs as protests, doing this and doing that. Y'all might as well say y'all support those illegal aliens that did what they did. When it comes to innocent women, innocent children, and other individuals. Honestly, I'm telling y'all. Check it out right here, y'all, with this. I gotta watch my words.
It's important to tell the whole country that this is not just about resistance here in Minneapolis. It's about love. We are showing something far more powerful and consequential here, which is love. We are standing up for one another. You've got neighbors helping neighbors. You've got people uniting and coming together in this beautiful way. And obviously, we've got these threats out there from the federal government that were literally designed to intimidate Minneapolis residents, to intimidate me. But here's the thing. We're not going to be intimidated. We've got this beautiful city full of extraordinary people. I have never been prouder to be from Minneapolis.
Sickening. Very sickening. It's like every time he speaks, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. Good thing about it, though, you have here Kaylin Collins. Federal grand jury has issued subpoenas to Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Fry, an investigation into ICE interference.
Familiar tells me that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and the Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry are both being investigated by the Justice Department. And a grand jury has issued subpoenas for both of them, though it doesn't appear that either have been served yet. What we do know tonight as we come on the air is that the Justice Department investigation centers on possible obstruction of federal law enforcement. Both the FBI Director, Kash Patel, and the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, were in Minneapolis today. And just a short time ago, Todd Blanche was on Fox News explaining, or attempting to explain, why the Justice Department is taking this action.
When the governor or the mayor threaten our officers, when the mayor suggests that he's encouraging citizens to call 911 when they see ICE officers, that is very close to a federal crime.
Familiar.
I can't wait. I'm telling y'all. One thing about it, like I said in my last video, that I absolutely love is the simple fact that 1,500 military soldiers are standing ready to be deployed to Minnesota. Check it out.
So this is another wild news night. Apparently 2 battalions of the 11th Airborne Station in Alaska have been put on standby for possible deployment to Minneapolis. This is as reporting continues to come in that CARE Minnesota, Council on American Islamic Relations of Minnesota, helped organize that mob that sent some people to the hospital today. Again, I want to make it clear, I don't necessarily agree with the tactics used by this guy who was in Minneapolis today. That's not the point. I didn't agree with his tactics in Dearborn, Michigan either, and I otherwise don't know that much about the guy, to be perfectly honest, but he and others didn't deserve to fear for their lives or be physically injured and end up in the hospital because of something organized, apparently, reportedly, and seemingly self-admittedly by the Council of on American Islamic Relations in Minnesota. Video posted on X by Andy No. This is Jailani Hussein, the executive director of CARE Minnesota.
And others, I don't know who's doing that. We've been organizing for a while now. There is a counter protest. We encourage people to go to the downtown.
They organized this. They organized mob violence. And Hussein has been agitating all week. He even led a protest in which he said that this was their second chance to fix things that they didn't quite get right after George Floyd. This is a man who also led the charge to sue a Minnesota community because they wouldn't allow a giant Islamic compound in their community. So here's the thing. I find it a little funny that a city that has suddenly become mired in one of the biggest fraud scandals in American history allows a week of distraction riots, even canceling schools, and with local politicians upping the ante and stoking the flame, then allows the group that perpetrated the fraud in the first place to do this, organize mob violence while they have the police look the other way. Remember, CARE is an unindicted co-conspirator in Muslim Brotherhood front group, and now apparently they're calling mob hits in on American...
I'm sorry if y'all heard that. I literally, it's 11 at night right now. Somebody just pulled up in our driveway, so... Might just be DoorDash. I just have to watch stuff like that, y'all. Trust and believe there's a lot of crazy, individuals that's in this world. So
citizens they don't like. Yeah,
we have cameras everywhere.
Standby because this is like the 20th layer of this all being a giant mess that really just needs to be cleaned up.
Again, apologies, y'all. Definitely say that those troops definitely need to be, sent. Definitely need to be sent. Things have, gotten pretty crazy. You're having different individuals incite violence and send, these protesters and tell these protesters, they need to do this and they need to do that. And it's literally completely, it's disgusting that they're doing this. I definitely say it's disgusting. This is an update right here. This is about 1,500 active duty Army paratroopers from the 11th Airborne Division based at Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson, Alaska, have been put on alert for potential deployment to Minnesota. So definitely lit. Definitely lit. One thing about it, you have here, what is definitely great. Says new devastating poll drops. Americans trust Republicans more than Dems. Economy and inflation plus 6 points. Tariffs plus 2 points. Immigration plus 11 points. Border security plus 28 points. So one thing about it is that definitely making progress when it comes to a lot, and I definitely love it. Definitely love y'all for the support, for the likes, for everything that y'all give. I definitely apologize for the interruptions. I know y'all gonna, oh, Recklezz, why don't you edit this part out? Honestly, or parts, out. I just like keeping stuff, I like them keeping it a little bit original, keeping it a little bit original. But, in fact, I'm pretty sure it was DoorDash, something like that. So it's nobody else. But like I said, have that security. I actually have, security that doesn't, even live far, from me, as well as, plenty of cameras. And we live in the state of Indiana, so you already know. Definitely tightened up. If y'all know what I'm talking about. But y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Catch y'all on the next one.